Start.
And I think actually a normal process of learning is imitation anyway. You always imitate what you're going to learn first. So the natural process, if you're a child, say, you imitate your parents, but then you rebel. So this is a normal biological fact that you have to find your own voice. And he sees music as a vehicle for expressing his beliefs. He can play with the rain, for instance. If it's raining, you can play. He will play with it, with the drops of water creating notes. You can get your ego lost in the rhythms, and in a moment of egoless, the spirit can move into you. It happens, it most certainly happens. And these people do have some type of power. An old lady can dance like a young man and so on. The biological or evolutionary reasons why man makes music is almost certainly one of the reasons human beings create music, was a special mode of... They separated the normal talking voice and they created a special category of communication for gods and goddesses or animal spirits, which is the musical mode. So that maybe in the very early on we sort of half sung, half spoken, half made poetry and half danced when we were communicating. But the musical mode probably got isolated out quite early as a special mode for reaching the supernatural realm. Rhythm is very useful when you have a society without machines and you have to use physical muscle power. You coordinate muscle power with work songs. There are all sorts of reasons for the music, biological reasons, mating calls and goodness knows what. Again, I think it's the rhythms, because what is hip-hop if it's not funk? And what is funk if it's not soul? It's coming from soul again, soul music. Disco, the same. Disco is soul with a drum machine. So all these styles come really out of soul music.
Gospel, maybe?
Which comes out of gospel. But syncopations, what is a syncopation? It's a form of exploring the rhythmic spaces in music. And Africans are experts at that because they can handle, they're like jugglers with rhythms. They can play 9 rhythms at the same time. What happened in the United States is that the slaves, when they were brought over, were not considered to be human beings by the Protestants. And the drums, the peg drums, were connected with paganism or with warfare, communication. So anybody playing traditional African music, particularly the peg drums, was executed. So what the African Americans did is that they put all their rhythms onto their body, and they created what's called patting juba. Patting, tap dancing, it was called pats. It means what you do is you take the African rhythms and you maintain them as clap rhythms or foot rhythms or body rhythms, and they were able to hold on to the African rhythms in spite of the most evil form of slavery ever devised, because as I say, the Protestant system of slavery was extreme. I mean, as far as we know, literally no African instruments have really survived, except maybe the banjo, or maybe the 1 or 2, but compared to Latin America or the Caribbean, none of the old cults really survived. And so after the Civil War, it was when the drum kit was put together. I mean, if you look at the drum kit, you can see it's basically Western drums. But the people who really put the drum kit together were African Americans. And so then they took the rhythms that they had held onto through their body and put them onto drums again. But they didn't put them onto African drums. They subverted Western, they colonized European drums, because I don't think the people who invented the drums, the brass band drums, ever envisaged a trap drum, a kit drum. This is how the rhythm survived in the United States. I mean, it's a very interesting parallel that the music of the religion of slaves, or the music of slaves, should actually penetrate the religion and the music of their masters. And this is actually what's happened today. I would say that not so much spiritual, but how do you define spiritual? But philosophical. There are philosophical concepts embedded in music. I mean, for instance, if you have a music which involves 7 people cooperating together, where nobody is the dominant person, even the master drummer doesn't dominate the show, he leaves gaps for other people to speak, in a sense. You're dealing with a very different type of philosophical construction of music from a Western hierarchy with a conductor and a virtuoso dominating the whole show. So you can say that music reflects the Zeitgeist, or the spirit of that particular society.